AITA for wanting my ex-husband to help me pack up our late daughter's bedroom instead of my current partner. Original post December 2021. AITA for wanting my ex-husband to help me pack up our late daughter's bedroom instead of my current partner. I'm a 33-year-old woman who 6 years ago lost my 2-year-old daughter to leukemia. My husband and I tried to make things work, but the grief of losing her and the emotions at the time made our relationship unsalvageable, and a year after her death we divorced. I kept her room as it was, as I like to go there sometimes to sit and remember her and be around her things, minus the few keepsakes her father took with him when we divorced so he could remember her too. A while after we divorced, I met my current partner, and now 3 years into our relationship I am 29 weeks pregnant with a little boy. I am equally excited and terrified about this, as I'm so scared of going through that kind of pain again. I live in a 2-bedroom home, so obviously my daughter's room needs to be packed up, and I accepted that, though it wasn't easy. My partner offered to help me do so, and I told him if he wanted to help it'd be appreciated, but that I'd also ask my ex-husband to help me so we could decide together what we each wanted to keep, donate or toss. This upset my partner, as he doesn't like the idea of my ex-husband being around for such a lengthy time, and that since he is my partner I should have asked only him, and told me I could just put aside a few random things for my ex. I tried to explain to him that my daughter was also my ex-husband's daughter, so he had a right to be there for this, and reminded him that if he wanted to help he could of course be there too. He doesn't want to be around my ex-husband, however, so need this, and has been upset with me all night over this. Is it truly that unreasonable that I'd ask my ex-husband to be a part of this? Edit. Just realized the title could be a little confusing. Yes, I told my partner he could help out, but truthfully I'd rather do it just with my ex-husband, as we are her parents, hence the wanting it to be my ex. Update 2 weeks later, January 2022. My partner did not back up on his displeasure over my ex-husband coming round to help packing up our late daughter's bedroom, and he said some very hurtful things regarding me, my ex-husband, and my late daughter that I will not post here, as it'd probably get my post removed. He then told me if I didn't call my ex-husband coming round for this he'd break up with me, as he wouldn't put up with it, clearly thinking I'd back down on this as I wouldn't want to be a single parent, and he seemed so ducking smug as he made this threat. By this point I was already seeing red. He could insult me all he wanted, but the things he said about my daughter, I told him to get the duck out of my house and never come back then, and kicked him out, throwing his stuff after him in a fit of rage. Nothing breakable, don't worry, and that was that. I then spent the day crying over all of this. A few days later my ex-husband came around and we packed up our daughter's room, and during it he asked me if my partner was around. I explained the situation to him, and he was so pissed off on my behalf, and he spent the rest of the afternoon comforting me about it. He then would call me every day to check if I needed anything or help with anything, as I'm starting to get less agile and began to spend more time around to help out. The last 2 nights he has actually been sleeping on my sofa in case I needed anything during the night, as I went into labor with our daughter a few weeks further along than I am right now, and he keeps fretting about what if that happens while I'm alone. Last night he asked me if I'd consider going out for something to eat with him to see about possibly restarting things. No pressure, just to test the waters, and I agreed, as having him around so much and being so helpful, it reminded me of all our good times and why I fell in love with him in the first place. We are taking it slowly, one day at a time. Ironic that my ex-partner's jealousy and actions may have caused exactly what he wanted to avoid. On the subject of my ex-partner, he has not been around since or called me, and I am getting a lawyer involved to check what I should do in regards to our son moving forward. It was an easy split as we weren't married. The house is in my name and always has been, and he'd only moved in after I got pregnant by accident. Story 2. AITA for saying that if my parents have another baby, I want nothing to do with it? Plus update. I know the title sounds bad, but hear me out. I 17F have had a rocky relationship with my parents since my siblings 10M, 7M, 3F, 9 months were born. I was an accident baby when my parents were teenagers, and they have told me in arguments that I ruined their lives. However, This is not what this post is about. My parents are notorious workaholics and constantly accuse one another of cheating. It's stressful for everyone in the house, young ones included. All of my siblings have had paternity tests. Because they work so often, though, it means I am often left for sometimes 48 hours to care for my siblings alone. This has gotten so bad that the 9-month-old and 3-year-old sometimes cries for me instead of our actual mother. I cook for them, make sure they get to school on time and do their homework, I clean and play with them. The 10-year-old invites me to his football games. I don't get time to do anything for myself. Well, last week, me and my parents were arguing again. They want another baby to bring them closer together. I was furious and straight up told them that they didn't look after the kids they already had and I'd just end up having to look after another one. I told them that if they have another baby, I want nothing to do with it and they will be all on their own. They called me an and said I was trying to ruin their marriage and their careers. I spoke to my grandma about it and, while she sympathizes with my situation, she says I should be supportive of my parents trying to fix their marriage. She told me it was my duty as the oldest sibling to care for my younger ones and I was being kind of an and should apologize to my parents, but I still don't think I am. So here I ask Reddit, AITA, edit, we do have a nanny come in 9/4 for the 9-month-old while I'm in college, but that'll probably stop when he starts school. Edit 2. After all your comments, I have spoken to my aunt in detail about the whole situation and she is horrified. She's my dad's older sister and has unfortunately never been able to have kids. She's the closest thing I've ever had to an actual parent, though. She told me that I need to talk to my parents about this and she'll stay with me while I do it. I messaged them that we need to have this talk tomorrow and it's non-negotiable. If they don't turn up, I'm calling CPS next time they leave me alone with my siblings. Simple as that. They're annoyed but have agreed to come. I'll keep everyone updated. Edit 3. So, we have spoken. My aunt was with me the entire time and I couldn't be more grateful for her support. I told my parents that they needed to grow up, basically. I told them pretty much what you had all been saying and said they had until I was 18 to build a proper relationship with my younger siblings, a good 10 months, and find a more suitable situation for while they're at work. Otherwise, I'm calling CPS. My aunt even offered to have them live with her. She's a frickin' saint. I told them that I no longer wanted a relationship with them, however, and I would be moving in with my aunt within the next month, but I will be coming over all the time and my younger brother Tenyo will receive my old phone to keep in contact with me while I am not there. My aunt only lives a 45 minutes walk away, so it won't be too bad and she will drive me there in a rush if needed. My parents were furious with me, said I was ungrateful and that I don't love my siblings. I told them that I was doing this because I loved my siblings and I wanted them to be better parents for them and I had to leave for that to happen. I've also spoken to my siblings who are also upset with me, but Tenyo understand it and the younger ones know they'll see me pretty much every day. My parents have threatened to have my aunt arrested as I'd be moving in with her underage and without their consent, but I told them I'd show the police every single piece of evidence I've collected over the years and then they'd lose all their kids. Overall, it didn't end well, but it needed to happen. Maybe I'll update again in a month or so, but, for now, this is goodbye. Thank you, everyone, for all the responses and advice. I appreciate every single one of you. Update. Long overdue update here. So, since my first post, things have been chaotic. I moved in with my aunt and have had the opportunity to be an actual teenager for once in my life. She's been letting me go out with friends, cooks the majority of the home meals, is my shoulder to cry on. But unfortunately, things haven't been all good. About 2 weeks or so after I moved in with my aunt, my mum showed up at the door with all 4 siblings in tow. She looked a mess, if I'm going to be honest, and my mother has always been a very put-together woman, so I was kind of worried. She said she tried but she couldn't do it, she wasn't cut out to be a mother, she begged for me to come back. The kids also looked miserable. The 7 meters and 3F were clinging to me, the baby was crying and 10 meters was just silent. He's usually a huge chatterbox. I told her I was not coming back, but my aunt repeated her offer to take in all of us on the condition that they had no more children. My aunt is a well-paid woman who's always wanted children but wasn't able to have them biologically and felt like we were close enough to hers anyways. She has a fairly large house already but has said she'd move if need be. My mom just broke down. She said she didn't want to give any of us up, but she just couldn't be who we needed her to be. She admitted that her and my dad were considering a divorce, and I encouraged her to seek some professional help. In the meantime, my siblings are staying with us. We collected the majority of their belongings, and my aunt has hired a nanny to be with us when she can't be. My father has gone NC, and the last we heard my mom was seeking therapy and having supervised visits with my younger siblings. Despite her trying now, I just cannot forget all those years I lost because she wasn't cut out to be a mom. I can't get over how many times I broke down over how stressed I was. I still love her, but I can't let her be my mom now when she wasn't when I needed her most. So, not all sunshine and rainbows, but some progress was made. Thank you everyone for all the advice and support. I'm also in therapy thanks to my aunt and beginning my own healing process. I hope you all had a great Christmas and a wonderful New Year's.